Hey everybody, it's Josh Lannon here, and on behalf of my partners Kurt Bullock and Andrew Hill, would like to just welcome you all to Local Retargeting Blueprint. We're really excited to have you guys here. A lot of times people don't like to refer to us as Josh, Kurt, and Andrew, so they just call us the New North guys. Our company's called New North Media, and so feel free to refer to us as that. We've been called worse. And also wanted to just put out a shout out to Mike Cooch and his team for helping us get this to market. They're just a group of amazing people. We really appreciate them. So anyways, wanted to kind of welcome you and also let you know what to expect as you start to navigate around the members area here. So if you guys jump right into the sales training, which we hope you do, just wanted to let you know what you're going to see in there. The first module you're going to see revolves around the 5 T's. It's a framework we've created around retargeting and pay-per-click advertising that allows you to build credibility, really look professional with your prospects and clients. And it also gives you talking points that you can refer back to. This one regards traffic, and this one regards targeting, and this one regards tuning. And so with that, again, it gives you just this great framework to build off of when you're speaking about retargeting. Moving on, the second module you'll see is how to explain retargeting to your prospects and clients. We often find that that people are asking us, our clients just don't get it, or people just don't understand it, or what's the best way to explain it. So this module, we just really quickly give you some of the language and some of the techniques that we've been using to explain it to our clients. Also, there's a little image that we use that might be helpful. And then the third one is how to prospect for new business using Facebook, and then there's also one using Google. So you're able to use Facebook and Google to prospect and bring in new clients on a predictable way, which is always really helpful. I wish more people would have given me some good prospecting tools when I first got started in the biz. And then the next module is learn how to sell retargeting to new prospects, as well as, there's another video within that module, how to upsell your current clients into retargeting. Also some real world usable, actionable things you can use to get started selling to both your prospects and upselling current clients. And then the next one is pricing to win. So learn how to confidently price your retargeting services to win more business. We just kind of give you a look behind the curtain of how we do our pricing and how we discuss what's included in each of the pricing structures. So hopefully that's helpful to you. Use that more as just as a starting point. You're welcome to use our pricing and our inclusions, but you can also build out from that. But it gives you a nice starting point. And then finally, how to set up and present your monthly reports to your clients. So that's another really helpful module. In our resources, we also have a reporting template that you can use. So the bonuses, right? We have some included and unannounced bonuses. If you look in the bonus tab up above, some nice little trainings that we've added. And then also make sure that you guys get on the training webinar. This is going to be super helpful. We're going to have Q&A and go over some specific stuff. Make sure you're absolutely on that webinar. And then don't forget to jump in our Facebook group. I love Facebook groups. That's where I've learned a bulk of the stuff that I've learned around Facebook ads and retargeting. So please make sure you get in on the Facebook group and we'll get you approved right away. And then also you'll see above in the navigation bar some of our additional offers. So you might have picked these up during the launch, or you might not have, but I just want to make sure we go over those with you again. We have the retargeting sales resources. So in there you get a slide presentation to present to your clients and prospects. You get retargeting explanation graphics, which is a long way of saying like, hey, this is how retargeting works, and it shows a nice little graphic you can walk through with people. We have some ad swipes that we go over, what we think's working and why they're working, and how you should set up your ads. We have reporting templates that you can just dump in your reporting information, and then it's a nice little template you can present to people or send to people. We have also prospecting email swipes, how to send out, a lot of people in our group use some software to send out email. And if you're doing that, these would definitely help. And if you just like to send out one-on-one emails, that helps as well. And then questions to ask prospects. We call it our discovery questions. Our initial meeting is always asking questions to develop information that we can then use in our proposals. And so we've put together a nice list of questions to ask prospects when you're in that initial meeting. And then finally, wanted to just make sure you guys knew how to reach us for support. Best way to reach us is support@newnorthmedia.com. We'll have people standing by to help you. And we really hope you guys just jump in, start consuming this information, take it, make it yours, use what you can, get out there, start selling retargeting and making nice high margin recurring incomes. We've really transitioned a lot of our business to just a retargeting agency, and I think that that's now is a great time for that. So get in there, get this stuff, and most importantly, get out there and use it. We really would love to hear your success stories. Thanks again for getting our product, Local Retargeting Blueprint. We hope it really has a really profound effect on your business. We look forward to hearing from you. Thanks so much. Talk to you guys in the videos. Bye-bye. Hey everybody, it's Josh Lannon, and I'm really excited to get into talking about selling retargeting with you all today. This is something I'm really passionate about, clearly, and today we're going to talk about the 5 T's of retargeting. We put together a little bit of a framework here, and so, and there's a nice picture of me. It looks like my head's a little bit bigger than my body there, as if someone might have pasted my head on something. I don't know what was going on there. Maybe you guys saw the movie, but the framework itself. Why a framework? What does a framework mean? Why do we use it? Why do we recommend it to you guys? Within the framework, the idea is it gives a timeline to the process, right? We're talking about the 5 T's here. So the T's are kind of going to go in a timeline that makes sense, and that also there's a beginning, a middle, and an end to the framework, to the process. And in doing so, it makes it relatable to the prospect, and ideally to you, the salesperson as well. So it's something, again, 5 T's. We're going to refer back to the second T, or to the third T, or the first T. It gives the prospect something they can relate back to. It also makes the process easy to explain. It's, again, with the alliteration and everything with the 5 T's, you can go back to the process and really show the prospect a real easy road map to how this whole retargeting thing works for their company. And then it's also that keeps the presentation moving forward. So in this initial presentation, usually our first call or sit down with somebody is actually just asking them questions. And so we're doing that discovery process. But understanding the framework, you can also refer to the framework in that discovery process, and then you can also refer to the framework when you're actually doing the presentation proposals. So the framework works throughout the entire sales process. And again, when you're in the presentation mode, it keeps that presentation moving forward. Now we're going to go to the third T, the fourth T, and so forth. It sticks in the prospect's mind. Like we said, the alliteration. There's some other really smart marketers out there that did something with 4 R's, I think, and it definitely is something that makes it your own. And in doing so, it also makes you look credible and professional. You guys have clearly thought this out. You do have a process. You do have a framework. This isn't just kind of fly by the seat of your pants, right? This is something that you've created, that you've implemented, that works, and it also does all these other things that we talked about here on this slide. Okay, so the first T is targeting. So what I'm going to do is kind of go over the T's, whichever one we're on, and then we'll go through kind of these bullet points that make it important, some important notes to take, and then I'll also kind of go through how I present it to a client. So I'm going to be doing this off the cuff, so hopefully I don't mess it up, but I think that you guys will definitely get some value out of understanding why we're talking about this T being targeting in the first one, and then also how I present it. So the first part of targeting, who is the target? Usually when we're talking about targeting, it's, we're talking about demographics and psychographics and stuff like that with Facebook ads. With this, we already know kind of who's, the target is whoever got pixelated, whoever got the cookie on their browser. But in this case, when we're talking about the target, we also want to make some decisions based on, is it a new prospect? Like, is it somebody who found the site some way and we're just trying to get them kind of foot in the door, or is it a current client? For example, somebody who clicked on bought something or took some type of action, and we're trying to get them in an upsell type of funnel. They've done one thing, we want them to do the next thing, right? And so I would also explain it to the client that way, but we'll go over that in a second. And then is there a sub-target? So you get all these people that have come to your website. Do we want to dive deeper? Especially for people who have a lot of traffic, you might want to actually segment that down, and that's something you can definitely test for sure. We're going to talk about testing here in a moment. But would it be, of all the 2,000 people that came to their website that month, do we want to put an ad out just to women who visited the site for a very specific thing, very specific offer or product, whatever it might be for the client? Is there an exclusion? And this gets a little bit complex, and we probably won't use this one very often, but it's something to understand. Is it that we want people who visited page A but didn't visit page B? Or we want people that saw page A but didn't take the action? So, you know, they saw the offer but they didn't take the action, that type of thing. And then finally, are they being targeted on the main site? Are we sending them to a page on the main site? Or are we sending them to some type of a lead page, some type of, you know, landing page that's not connected to the site? There's certain strategies that you might want to do one or the other. There's certain strategies we've done where we embed a lead page, you know, for example, like a webinar registration page on the client site, just so that they could also see other navigation for the client site. There's other situations where you don't want them to see any other navigation. You want them to just take that action. And so that's why we do squeeze pages. So those are some of the things to consider. Now, when I'm talking to a client, if I was sitting down at a table with a client talking about this, or over the phone or on Skype or whatever, I would just say, okay, so you've shown some interest in retargeting. I want to talk to you a little bit about the 5 T's. We've created this framework that really, I think, embodies what's possible with retargeting. And so the first T is targeting itself, right? So with retargeting, we're typically talking about people who have already been to your website, or through other ways that we have to get the cookies on their browsers. They've actually raised their hand and said, hey, I've already taken a look, or I'm already aware of what you do. So then we ask, you know, do we want to look at new prospects, or do we want to look at current clients, and do we want to upsell them? So that's something you definitely want to consider. But we have the ability to take people who come to your site, and if they're net new people that have never taken any action with you, we can get them to take an action, like fill out a form, download something, sign up for an event, whatever that might be. But another way we can do it, which is pretty exciting, is we can take somebody who already filled out a form, already went to an event, or already purchased something from you, and based on them landing on those secondary pages that tells us they took that action, we can actually put another ad in front of them saying, hey, thanks for doing part A, now you should try part B, or whatever it might be. There's also ways that we can dive deeper into the people that have visited your site, so we can actually look at, you know, just women that have came to your site. We could look at just people over the age of 40. So we have a lot of options here, being able to really target down to people that have already, like I said, they've already checked it out. We just need to get them that second, third, fourth chance to take that action that we want them to take. So that's how I would talk to a client about it. I wouldn't go too much into this exclusion stuff or main site or lead page, but when you're asking them questions as you're setting everything up, you should keep that in mind. So the second T is traffic. Traffic's important no matter what you're doing. Without any traffic, really nothing gets done. And so the way we talk about traffic is, okay, we're doing retargeting. Where's the initial traffic coming from, right? We need to get traffic to the site before we can actually retarget anybody. We have to actually target them first. So where is it coming from? Is it coming from ads? Is it coming organic? Is it coming from referrals from somewhere? These are questions that we just have to understand are important. How quickly can we get to the perfect audience 1,000? This is something that, you know, if you've already gone through the perfect audience modules, we need to get 1,000 people cookie to be able to use perfect audience. And we love perfect audience. We really like using it. So how quickly can we get there? The first question, of course, you want to ask your client is how many new, you know, people come to your website in a given month. If they don't know that, we definitely want to take a peek at their Google Analytics or some other type of analytics on their site through their server, whatever. But we want to understand, you know, is it realistic to get to the perfect audience 1,000 in a month, maybe 2 months at the most? If not, we want to consider, hey, should it be augmented with ads, right? Should we create a Facebook ad campaign, which is a great upsell to retargeting, by the way, if they're not already doing it with you? Should we augment it with ads? And we actually have a little strategy that we have that's specific to this, ways to get them to augment with ads. But hey, you know, do we want to get more traffic? We want to get more people in retargeting. Retargeting is converting like crazy. How do we get people in the front door so we can get to them again through retargeting? And then should we augment with software? Depending on where you are in the training, we offer some really, really cool software that allows you to retarget people who click on a link. So basically, you could link to anything, anywhere, CNN, you could link to a PDF, you could link to another website, you could link to you know, a Facebook post, or anywhere you can think of putting a link or linking to. Basically, when they click that link, they go on our retargeting list. And so there's really cool ways that we can augment to get more traffic to the site, and specifically to get that perfect audience 1000 using software. So these are things that you as the marketer should be thinking about, right? If I'm talking to the prospect, it's basically it's pretty quick. The traffic is just like, hey, so the second T in the 5 T's is traffic. And what we want to talk about when it comes to traffic is, first of all, how much do you have? Or do we have the ability to get enough people into the retargeting audience to make it a viable campaign, a viable ads campaign? Well, is there going to be enough people to be clicked? Is there going to be enough people to get data? So what we want to do is just make sure we're getting as much traffic as we can, even if we're flowing new traffic in from other sources. So some of the things that we've done in the past for clients is we've augmented their traffic with ads. Using Facebook ads, we get a lot more people to the site so that they know about us, so then they can see the retargeting ads again. We get really good data from that. Another thing is we have this really cool software called Target Echo Links. It allows us to create links throughout your website, throughout your collateral materials, on your social media platforms. And every time someone clicks on that link, they go on your retargeting list. And we also want to make sure that we're getting 1,000 people cookied as soon as possible, because we want to be able to integrate perfect audience for you, which allows us some additional display advertising options. It basically just allows us to get your retargeting ad in front of more people in more different ways so that it's the most effective campaign possible. Does that make sense? And so again, that was kind of a hurried version of how I'd go through it with a client, but that's just some of the language and some of the discussions I'd have. So I hope that helps. Testing is so important. We're trying to get as much data initially as we can so that we can implement testing. So the third T is testing. And what this is really a discussion of what should we be testing, right? So what offers should we be focusing on? There's so many questions you could have here, but is it going to be like a direct sale? Is it somebody who's selling like a home services and it's a pretty expensive sale, but we're just like saying, hey, they know about us, let's put an offer in front of them and give them a nice discount on whatever it might be, carpet cleaning or something. Second, or is it more of like a lead magnet? It's like, hey, they've checked us out, they're not quite ready to pull the trigger on carpet cleaning, but we could get them to sign up for a free video that talks about spot cleaning in between carpet cleanings, or a downloadable PDF that talks about the 5 mistakes everyone makes when choosing a carpet cleaner, whatever it might be. So those are two things you need to consider. Offers are very tricky, and there's so many different types of offers and ways you can do offers. Should it be dollars off versus percentage off and this and that? So don't get too bogged down with that, but I think this is a good place to start. Are there different images to test? I mean, usually this is what we're doing. We get 2 images. This is for our kind of foot in the door, by the way, but we get 2 images, we get 2 copies of the ad, and that's our beginning test. And then we just kind of run that to everybody in the retargeting audience, because typically initially there's not a very big audience, so we're not able to really dive deep within the audience itself. So images are huge. I usually try to use stuff that's bold, that comes off of Facebook. Sometimes I'll just use an image, but oftentimes I'll use an image with a little bit of text, and you could test that too. You could also test the different types of fonts you use in the text, and you can go pretty deep down the rabbit hole there. Should a coupon code be used? This is kind of an interesting one, depending on how transactional your offer is. Recently did one with we were selling DVDs, and we tested it with and without the coupon code, and actually without the coupon code did better. We had a coupon code, people could plug it in and get X% off, or we could just do a straight $1 off, and you go and that's a special page for getting it for $13.99 or whatever. So you should test that out. It's not to say that my experience is the right way. I thought it would actually go the other way. People get a coupon code, typically they feel like they're getting a special deal, so they take advantage of it. But you might want to test that out, and there's so many things you can test. Headline copy, of course, with these ads you have the ability to do headline copy, then there's like kind of the display copy, the description, all that. Headline copy is really important, so consider how you want to do headline copy. If you have any questions about this, also refer back to our anatomy of an ad. We go through some of this stuff in that training. And then demographics, male, female, age, all those things, you can definitely test that. You can check some of that stuff out in the reporting. But these are the things that you need to discuss with your clients about, targeting itself and what's possible. So typically the way I do it, and if I was talking to a client, is The third T is testing. And so after we've looked at the target and the traffic, we're setting up some ads, we want to make sure that we have testing in mind. So we're going to test a couple different things right off the bat. Based on what I know about your website and about the offer that we're going to put out, I would recommend that we test out 2 different images and 2 different pieces of copy. And we start out with a direct sale ad, but there's a lot of different things we can test. We can test, a lead, something that's a free giveaway versus a direct offer. We can test several different types of images. We can test several different types of copy. But based on what we've looked at, because at this point you should have an idea of what's going on with the client. Based on what we've looked at, this is what I'm gonna recommend for you. This is the testing I'm gonna recommend for you. The reason that, and so stepping away from it now, I'm not talking to client anymore. The reason that I keep this pretty succinct is because I don't want the client head spinning of different things that you could test. So, when it comes to testing, I recommend you direct it a little bit more when you're having this talk. But I think it's important, if I was sitting on the other side of the table and someone was talking to me about this, I think it would be important to know that they are testing different things. They're just not throwing spaghetti against the wall and seeing what sticks, And so I think that you need to become the consultant here, say, hey, based on what we know now, this is what I recommend we test. And not only do we test, but we also track our testing, which is the next step, tracking. And so when we're doing tracking, it's the 4th T, and it's also part of the process. Right after we get our testing going, we're going to track the testing that we're doing, the testing that our hypothesis of what we're going to be testing. So with the tracking, we're going to be tracking clicks. How many people click on the ad, how many people click to the website, what the click-through rate is, because the click-through rate has a direct connection to the cost of the ad. So we want to make sure we're getting a good click-through rate. It just depends on the market and the offer, what the click-through rate is. A lot of people, if it's something that's over 3%, people go crazy about. People who sell t-shirts and stuff like that online, typically they're going, if it's a really targeted market, they go really nuts. With the retargeting offers, a lot of times we'll see some really good click-throughs because, again, they already know about you. So I hesitate to give you like a benchmark for what's a good click-through rate or not, but you definitely want to test it, and you definitely want to continue to try to improve whatever the click-through rate is. And if you have 2 ads that are going and one's getting a better click-through rate, that's probably an indicator of something that's resonating with the end user that's deciding to click on that ad. Something's working there. And it also usually, 9 out of 10 times means you're getting a better cost per click, which is the next piece, cost per website click. There's 2 different types of costs. There's cost per click and cost per website click, and there's actually several other ones you can do too. But with cost per website click, that's really what we want to be focusing on. We want to see how many people actually come through to the website. So that's something we definitely track. Cost per conversion, this one is very cool. We actually figure out how much it costs for someone to take the action. So if there's a specific action, we put a conversion pixel on the back end of the action, and then we can say, okay, cost this much for a website click, and out of those website clicks, 1 out of 3 converted, so we know that this is the cost per conversion. If it was, $1 per website click, it's $3 per conversion. Those types of numbers are really important. And then value of conversion. We can actually, inside of the conversion pixel, put the value of a conversion. So when we're looking at our reporting, we can see how much it cost per conversion and how much we made per conversion. And those numbers get pretty exciting because that's basically money in versus money out, right? So if I'm talking to a prospect about tracking, it's a pretty, again, succinct discussion. It's like, hey, I just want to let you know that the 4th T is tracking. And the reason we talk about tracking is, if we're going to be testing, we have to be able to measure and track what we're testing to be able to make good decisions about the ad and to be able to make good recommendations to you. And so let me talk to you just really quickly about a few things that we track. We track how many people click on the ads, what the click-through rate is, what the percentage of people that see the ad that click through, because that gives us an idea of what's working and what's not. We also track what the cost is per website click. And so we really kind of get a better cost per acquisition number, what the cost is per click. And then typically, depending on the situation with the client, I might hold cost per conversion and value per conversion in my pocket. The only reason is you don't want to kind of set landmines for yourself. And so I recommend that you don't go into the discussion around cost per conversion and value per conversion until you start getting the data back. It just gives you, if it's really successful, you have something really cool to put in front of the client. Hey, look, this is how much we're paying per conversion, and this is how much we're getting back per conversion. And the difference between those two things should be pretty compelling if they're showing a good profit per conversion. But if you've already discussed this with the client beforehand, they start to get expectations of that, and it just can kind of snowball into something you don't want to get into quite yet until you can figure out and tune the process. So again, going back, I recommend you talk about clicks, click-through rate, cost per website click, some other things that you're going to be, how many people see the ad, those types of things. Hold back on cost per conversion and value of conversion until you get some good metrics back, and continue to try to make all of these tracking metrics better and better with each one of your ads. So this leads us to the fifth T, which is tuning. So when we talk about tuning, we're taking the information that we've got and we're going to do something with it, right? And if I was the prospect, this would be the most important thing to me. It's not that we're just running blind ads and just hoping everything works. We're actually testing, tracking, and tuning. And those three pieces for a prospect should be music to their ears, because again, we're making things better, we're improving, we have a plan in place. So when it comes to tuning, man, all these got out of whack. Sorry, guys. When it comes to tuning, we want to call out the winners and losers. So we have our report based on our testing metrics, and we say, okay, clearly this ad got much better click-throughs and much lower cost per click. So we're going to call this one a winner. And you personally, as the marketer, have to decide what's a winner and loser. I could give you numbers that work for us, but I think it'd be irresponsible for me to kind of tell you what's a winner, what's a loser. You have to look at all the variables that go into the campaign and one ad versus the other ad. That's why we like to keep kind of two images and two pieces of copy. We can kind of figure out, hey, this image one and this copy one, and so we're going to put that copy and this image together, or vice versa. And so call out winners and losers. Recommend spend adjustments. This is when you're talking to your client. You're saying, hey, so we're putting X amount of money behind this one and X amount of money behind this one. I recommend that we maybe reallocate the costs that we're spending on the ones that aren't doing too well and put those behind the ones that are. Or we can also pair off any losers. So we can actually say, hey, these ones are clear losers, and I highly recommend you do that, because otherwise it's just a waste. Pair off any loser and just say, these are losers, they didn't work for whatever reason, good test, goodbye to you. And then you can create a new ad to go against the winning quote unquote control ads, right? And so that's what we typically do, is we call out winners and losers. We recommend any additional spending if it makes sense, if we're having some really good conversion numbers based on the last slide that we were just talking about. And then we pair off the losers, say, these ones are dead to us. And then we say, okay, we're going to create a new ad. We're going to try a new image, or we're going to try some new copy, or we're going to try a new variant on the offer. And we're going to go out and we're going to try to beat the one that we're now calling the control ad, the best performing ad. And so I hope that makes sense to you guys. You guys are probably already doing some of this stuff, but when I'm talking to a client, that's basically how I present it to a client too. This is what we're going to do based on our testing results. Call out winners and losers. We're going to make some recommendations based on spending. We're going to take any of the losers and get rid of them, and we're going to create a new ad that goes against the control. This is a great time also, as you're doing this type of reporting for a client, to make discuss the offers that they're putting out there, but also make recommendations to improve their campaign. For example, upselling them into other stuff that you offer as a marketer, right? So if you say, hey, look, this stuff's working amazing, this ad's doing so well, but we only have 1,000 people in the audience. So what I'd recommend is, because we're having such good conversions on this retargeting ad, let's go ahead and put together a Facebook ad campaign that is going to get more traffic to your site. It'll get you more awareness about your offer. It will likely get you some conversions, but it also just puts people into the funnel to start seeing the retargeting ads, which are converting at such a higher rate. And overall, both of those campaigns together, working in concert, will give you much better results because we have more people in the funnel. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in some of our specific strategies, but that's it. That's the 5 T's. So again, it's target, traffic, testing, tracking, and tuning. And hopefully I got all those in order. So practice those. That should be part of your, infuse those into your discovery questions. Also make sure that you're using those in your presentations and proposals. And then, it's a great way when you're having these, reporting discussions with your clients. Now they know the 5 T's. So you can say, okay, this applies to traffic, or this applies to our tracking, or this applies to our testing, or whatever T you're talking about. And it just keeps them kind of indoctrinated into your framework, the way that you've set it up. So thanks a lot, guys. There's a lot more sales videos to go through, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye-bye. Hey everybody, Josh Lannon here, and today we're talking about selling retargeting, how to explain retargeting to your clients and prospects. And we get this question a lot, so I'm excited to get into some ideas here. Again, these are just a few of the things that are working for us, but we hope you can take them, make them your own, and make them work for you. So let's jump on in. This is what we call the low fruit explanation, a low-hanging fruit idea, basically. And we're going to also delve into this a little bit when we talk about the specific sales language. But when we're discussing what is retargeting with our clients and prospects, this is one of the ways we talk about it. And so I'm just going to kind of jump in here as if I'm talking to a client. We'll walk through it, and then I'll jump out. The low-hanging fruit opportunity looks like this. So, Mr. Prospect, typically, when we're in business, we're looking at the world in 2 columns. The people who do business with you and the people who don't. But there is this large underserviced audience that often gets overlooked. And those are the people who know you, but they don't do business with you, or they don't do business with you yet, right? It's said between 90 and 98% of people visit your site and don't take you up on your requested action. And it's also said that 49% of people have to visit a site 2 to 3 times before making a buying decision. But what if there was a way that we could track everyone who came to your site and then ensure that they see your ads multiple times as they surf the internet or on Facebook, things like that? So that's the way that works. That's the way the low-hanging fruit intro goes, and then you kind of take it from there. Another thing I like to do is also have you ever been on Amazon and looked at something and, all of a sudden that's following you around the web? A lot of times people can relate to that, but some people can't. I sometimes will tag that on the back of the low-hanging fruit conversation or on the catch and release explanation, which we're about to go through. So this is the catch and release explanation. I'm just going to jump into this. I wanted to discuss a very popular strategy for converting more prospective customers from the website. Are you guys familiar with the term retargeting or remarketing? Have you heard that? To tell you the truth, it's basically like those wildlife shows where they catch and release the animals. You know what I mean? So what we've done here is we've basically taken, a little bit of tongue-in-cheek humor and, explained it as, kind of a catch and release type of situation, like on, the Crocodile Hunter or something like that, right? It gives it a little bit of humor. You can see I kind of go into a little bit of a laugh when I'm talking about it, but it gives them kind of a visual on how retargeting works. We're actually capturing somebody, we're letting them go, and then we're putting stuff back in front of them. And so it's a little, you have to have kind of a level of comfort to use this one. It's a little silly, but it works. It just gives them, that comfortable, like, oh yeah, I get it, right? And then I jump into an actual literal here's how it works discussion. So at the end of either one of these, either the low fruit or the catch and release, then we go, so this is how it works. We also have a graphic here at the end we're going to show you too, and I'll use that graphic as well as this explanation. But we'll just go through the explanation here. So here's how it works. Number one, a person visits your site. Number 2, they're tagged with something called a cookie on their computer. So basically a cookie attaches to their browser, allows us to follow them around the internet. After they leave the site, the cookie allows us to put our ads in front of them while they're surfing on Facebook and other websites. And this leads to much higher conversions and sales. You already know, like, and trust us. They just need to get that extra little nudge to make that buying decision or purchase or action or whatever we're trying to get them to do. Does that make sense? And then I answer any questions, and there's some frequently asked questions that we do get. And then this is a nice little graphic that we use. So you can see number 1, prospect visits your site. Number 2, prospect is cookied. Then we go to number 3, prospect leaves your website without completing the desired action. Number 4, the prospect sees your ad everywhere they go. Number 5, prospect returns to your website. And then you can say, and then the number 6 in the bullseye is the prospect takes that desired action, right? And so this is something that we put together. We also have a couple other graphics you guys can use if you got our sales resource templates. But it's a nice little piece you can throw into your PowerPoint presentations, or just have a single sheet that you have, or put it on a pricing sheet or whatever. It just allows you, it gives you a little bit of a visual you can walk through with your clients, which is nice. So hope this helps, guys. Get out there and do some prospecting, and then start explaining retargeting to all of your current clients and to any new prospects you have. Start making some sales. Thanks a lot. We'll see you in the next video. Hey everybody, it's Josh Lannon here again, and we're still talking about selling retargeting. In this video, we're talking about prospecting using Facebook as a platform for your prospecting. And so we'll go ahead and jump in here. Now, we're going to talk a little bit here about your initial target. Who are we going after for our initial target? So when we're talking about Facebook and retargeting, you can go after your existing website visitors. You can, already have people that have visited your website based on your pixel. You can just go straight after them. You can upload your prospects email list into a custom audience and do it that way. So we go over that a bit more in our training section. But you can always just go into Facebook and upload your prospects email or phone numbers and create an audience that way. You can target local business groups, which this is what we're going to talk about here in this video. Where you target, like, let's say BNI, or in this case I think we're doing Denver Chamber of Commerce. So here we target the Denver Chamber of Commerce with Facebook ads. Oh, one other option is you can mail blitz using a retargeting link using some special software that we have. We have software called Target Echo, and it is something that we hope to bring to market here pretty soon. And it allows you to click on links and be able to get people on your list that way. More on that to come. And then Facebook ads to compelling content. Again, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to kind of mix the target your local business groups and chambers, and with a Facebook ad to compelling content. So this is, again, we talk about some of these other options in some other trainings, but today we're going to talk about using the ads and then retargeting based on traffic that's created by those ads. So here's the content that we're going to talk about for Facebook ads. There's a few different pieces of content that we want to discuss. You can see on the right, this is our initial Facebook ad, right? So this is the ad that we're going into Facebook. We're saying we want to target Denver Chamber of Commerce, and we're going to create this ad. And this case, we're taking them to a video that talks about, in this case, let's say retargeting, or it could be, Google Hangouts, or a myriad of other things that you guys want to talk about. Since we're prospecting for retargeting, we're going to try to keep everything kind of along the same lines here. So attention Denver business owners, take a minute to learn how you can grow your business consistently and predictably using this free tool. And then we're either offering a freebie, sending them to a blog post, sending them to a video or a webinar. Again, webinars are a lot to ask for this type of strategy. We want to take them to something they feel like they don't have to take up too much time out of their day to check out, but that it's really interesting. And that's why the fourth one, shocking article, works. If it was, something the Kardashians are doing, it seems like everybody's interested in that, right? So if that could apply to your business somehow, great. But if it's something that's, interesting, topical, maybe a little scary, something that really gets people to click and check out, you can also click through to a shocking article. We have, through linking software, again, we can get them on our targeting list that way. But in this case, we're going to really focus on giving away a freebie, a blog post, or a video. And then the retargeting ad, what are the components of the retargeting ad? So in this case, we've already sent out the Facebook ad. We've got a bunch of traffic back to our site or landing page at this point, right? Now with that traffic, now that we have that Facebook audience, now we're going to send out the retargeting ad, which is a bit different from the initial targeting. So now we're going to talk about a retargeting ad having an image, copy, and a landing page that's different from our initial Facebook ad. The initial Facebook ad, again, was just to get a bunch of traffic to the site so that we could then retarget them. So now in the retargeting ad, talk a little bit about the image. We like to do one of or more of these three things. So funny, pointing, and completely random. So funny could be all kinds of crazy stuff. We've got a bunch of examples and kind of a library we've created over the years. It's just really goofy, funny, people making funny faces, whispering, you know, little kids are great. We have a lot of little kids doing funny stuff. Pointing, you know, if you go to any stock photography thing, you can get people pointing at the camera. And then completely random, you could just go completely random. I think I saw Mike Cooch put out one the other day that was a cat wearing sunglasses and had to do with a piece of software, just completely random, but it definitely got my attention, so it worked, right? And so again, it's, you know, we're retargeting you. The image has got kind of vivid colors, crazy picture, just basically the pattern interrupt, just trying to get people like, whoa, what the heck's going on here, right? And then the copy, as you could see before, it was short and sweet. We don't want to get too crazy and long with the copy again. We use things like learn how you can grow your business predictably and consistently by using retargeting, or something similar would be we are retargeting you, learn how you can do the same for your business. In the previous ad, we kind of did both. We had the first up above the image and the second down below with the headline. So you can absolutely do that. It gets people's interest if you're, especially if your previous video that you showed them was about retargeting. Now they're like, oh, they're doing exactly what they told us they were going to do. And then again, taking them to the landing page, this is for the retargeting ad landing page. We like to take them to just some lead pages. So we use lead pages. It's just a nice, clean, squeeze type page to an offer. We typically do a video on the squeeze page using Jing, Camtasia, or the webcam if we're going to do like a talking head thing. Jing is free, but there is a restriction of up to 5 minutes. So if you're a fast talker or you have a pretty tight message, you can do a quick Jing video. Camtasia has a bit of a cost to it. I want to say it's about $300, but it's awesome. I use it all the time. And then, you know, of course, webcam is free. So consider that. Consider what would be the best tools for you. Maybe start out doing some short Jing videos and then see how those go, and then make some money and get some Camtasia. I imagine that a lot of people here already have Camtasia, or there's a lot of other you know, low-cost screen capture video stuff out there now since Camtasia has come out. And then we also use a form, like an opt-in type form, and a tracking number. Sometimes we use both. A lot of times we'll do both, but it just depends on what your end result is and what your audience is. So I'm going to show you a quick example. Oh, one other thing. Make sure you use your retargeting pixel on this landing page. You want to see who lands on the page, and you also want to see who converts. So make sure you use the retargeting pixel here. Here's just like an example of one that we do. It's a very basic one out of lead pages. You can find it very quickly if you go into lead pages. And it's, you know, discover how a simple strategy called retargeting will predictably grow your business. Just watch this 15-minute video and your business will thank you. Again, these are two different ones. One was, the original ad was for a 5-minute video. This one was for a little bit longer 15-minute video. Make sure those two things line up. And then the video itself, which we'll go into in a minute, but we do a lot of different things in this video, but none of it's very fancy. It's just a quick explanation of you know, what we're offering and what the solution is. And then below the button itself, we have a click. When you click on it, it pulls up a form as a 2-part opt-in, or you can, you know, we've inserted our analytic call tracking number in here too, so we can basically track the people that are converting or calling us from this offer. So that's what, you know, it's nothing fancy, right? But, you know, sometimes the simplest, most basic things work the best. And then the landing page video, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of direction on the video. You can do whatever you want. You could do all kinds of stuff. You could do a animated video, one of those what are they called, whiteboard videos. You could do yourself talking to the camera, yourself in front of a whiteboard, all kinds of, you know, sky's the limit, right? But here's just a little bit of direction, because when I'm getting training, I always like to at least get one example from somebody that's working. And so when we make our videos, introduce ourselves, hey, thanks for visiting. This is Josh with Different Web Consultants. And then we state the problem. We've noticed for a lot of our clients that they're getting good traffic to their page using different strategies, but a lot of that traffic was bouncing off. They were leaving immediately, not up to 95 to 98% were leaving and just never coming back. And so we've done all that work to create this traffic, and so many of them were just lost opportunities. And then I go into, in my experience, the answer, ... So, I think this is some nice language. You don't have to use this, but in my experience, or with my experience with my clients or my customers, the answer that I found is, and the way that I would maybe position that based on my previous example is, in my experience working with my clients for several years, the answer is using retargeting. By using retargeting, you can put a pixel on your page, and you actually get another 1, 2, 3 chances at these visitors that aren't converting to your offer. And so it's a very simple strategy. It's something that we can set up for you guys very quickly. And it's something that almost all of my clients are taking advantage of, because they see the opportunity, or the opportunity to make up on any lost opportunities that have left the website. And then close for the appointment, or for them to take the action. So then you just say, I would love to discuss your vision of your business. If you want to click on the button below and fill out a form, one of us from our office will get a hold of you, and we will set a little time to discuss your goals and your vision for your business, and see if retargeting would be a good fit for you. So again, that wasn't my best pitch in the world, but hey, you get the idea. It's a very, very 5-minute to 15-minute video, something that just gets people to know, like, and trust you even that much more. And it's very, very powerful. We've been converting really well, and then we take them directly into our foot in the door process, which we'll talk about in some other videos. But I hope this helps, and it's a great way to prospect. Once you have this set up, it does a great job for us, and I hope it does a great job for you guys too.
Hey, this is Andrew Hill, and in this video I want to show you guys how to get unlimited leads straight from Google for retargeting. So the first thing we're going to want to do is use the Chrome browser, and then you go look for the extension FB Pixel Helper. I'll be adding that extension to my browser, and I say add. And so I now see that the Pixel Helper has been added to my browser. And so the second thing that I want to do is go over to Google, and I want to type in whatever I'm looking for. Let's say San Diego, California, I'm looking for dentist. And so I type that in, and of course everybody knows up here is a pay-per-click, and so these guys are paying every time you click there. And so we can open a few of these. We'll just open 3. And then down below that we have the yellow pages, so we'll open the yellow pages. And then below that we have the Google Plus pages, and so we'll open 2 of those. And then below that we have the organic listings, and we see white pages here, we see dental certificates, we see Yelp. Below that we see Top Dentist in San Diego magazine, and then we see some of the organic listings for dentists, and so we open these 2. And so now we go over here to what we opened, and we see that this has not lit up, so there is no Facebook retargeting pixel on here. This practice is paying for leads, but they are not retargeting on Facebook, so they're losing out. And then in order to look for perfect audience, if you're on a Mac, you press Command plus Option plus J, and if you're on a PC, you want to press Control Shift J. So I'm on a PC, I'll press Control Shift J, and that opens the built-in JavaScript control. And then all I want to do here is say _PA.fired. And this will tell me if they have perfect audience tracking code. So I hit enter there, and I see that they are not retargeting with perfect audience either. So then this is a possible lead for me. They see the value in internet marketing because they're paying for ads, but they are not retargeting. So this is a great one to go after. Here's another pay-per-click listing that we opened, and we see that they are not retargeting through Facebook. So once again, we open up the JavaScript console, and we type in _PA.fired. We see that this one is not retargeting either, so there's 2 good leads for you. And then we can also do this with the yellow pages. We can go through yellow pages and we can open up and go to each one of their sites. And then we can also see the free yellow pages ads, but then we can see the people that are paying on yellow pages, and we can go in and sort them by that way. We can also do this with the Google Plus pages. And so we see here this practice has 111,000 views to this page. And so then we go to About Us and we click on their dentistry. And we see that it has not lit up here, so they are not retargeting through Facebook. And then once we launch that console again, _PA.fired, we see that they are not using perfect audience either. So it's a great foot in the door strategy to get in with these guys that already see the value of advertising online. Here we are. Here's another one, 97,000 views. We go to About Us. We click on their dentistry. We see that they are not advertising through Facebook. So then we pull up that again. See if they're doing anything with perfect audience, _PA.fired. They're not doing anything with either. So here's another good lead for retargeting. And so just to show you guys what it will look like if somebody was retargeting, we'll go over here to local retargeting blueprint. And we see that this is lit up, and that's because we have the Facebook retargeting pixel on there. And to make sure that we have the perfect audience retargeting pixel on there, we do the same thing, _PA.fired. And so we see that the object is found, and that's because we have the perfect audience retargeting code on here. So this is what you can expect if somebody is doing retargeting, both Facebook up here with the top right, and then checking to see if they have the perfect audience retargeting pixel. But you can do this with Google all day in the different sections of Google. So you can do it with pay-per-click, you can do it with Google Plus, you can do it with the organic, and then you can get into the other listings like the white pages, the yellow pages, Yelp, the different directories. If you're going after doctors, you can do it for health grades, but the potential is just unlimited, and this is a great foot in the door strategy. Make sure that they're not retargeting, and then reach out to them and explain to them what retargeting it is and how powerful it is.
Hey everybody, it's Josh Lannon, and again we are talking about selling retargeting today, but specifically we're going to talk about how to sell to new prospects. So I'll jump right into the training here. So the strategy we're talking about in this video is our foot in the door strategy, and retargeting is a great foot in the door offering for new prospects. It's something they can understand when explained properly, and it's something that also shows, for a low cost, really great return on investment, really great activity right away. So it's not something they have to wait for months to see any type of tangible results. So that's why we love leading with it. Everybody understands that some people leave their website, and why not try to get those people back, right? So in this slide, we're talking about discovery questions, and it's kind of part of the Sandler sales training and some of our own methodologies. We always like that first meeting to be what we call a discovery meeting, where we're just sitting there and listening to our clients. We have either a pad out or a notebook or something, and we're just asking them questions and listening and trying to understand what makes their business tick, and also kind of take them down a little bit of a path with our questions, right? So here's some of the questions that are kind of the critical few. But we do have a longer list of discovery questions if you guys want more in our sales resources section, if you guys got that. So with the discovery questions, these ones are the ones I really think are important. How many buyers and prospect emails do you guys currently have in your database? Now we ask this question because we want to understand how many people we can upload into a custom audience in Facebook. You can do website custom audiences based on buyers and prospects, as long as you have their either name and email or name and phone number. Really just need their emails and their phone numbers, but it's nice to have their names in your database as well. And then also next question is, how many monthly visitors come to your website on average? The reason we're asking this question is I'm always trying to figure out how quickly we can build a tangible retargeting list, and also I want to understand how quickly we can get to what we call the perfect audience 1,000. The 1,000 cookie visitors, we need to use perfect audience, and as you guys know, we love perfect audience. So there is no magic number here. Ideally, like the best number is of course over 1,000, but don't be discouraged if they say 200 or 500 or something like that. It's not perfect, but we can still make that work. And so if someone says, hey, we only get 200 people per month, it doesn't mean that you can't do retargeting with them, especially as a foot in the door strategy. And it also gives you an opportunity to upsell some things too. All right, so what is the annual value of a new customer? Clearly, we ask this question every single time. We want to understand what type of return on investment we could potentially show, and we use this in our proposals or presentations. If they say ideally, annually, a new customer or client's worth $2,000 to us, and we know that our foot in the door strategy costs them about $500, when we know pretty well that we can get at least 1, 2, 3 new clients pretty quickly running through the cycle, then we know we can show them a compelling return on investment, and that makes everybody happy. It makes us heroes in the eyes of the client, and it also allows us to continue to work with those clients and do more things as upsells. And then finally, how many people do you think land on your site once and then leave and don't come back? And you can ask this a bunch of different ways, but clearly what we're trying to get from them is their feel for lost opportunity. Whenever you're doing discovery questions, you want the informational stuff, but you also are digging for pain, right? You want to find some pain points that you can then present, and you also want to kind of find some aspirations of the client. So there's some additional stuff there, but how many people do you think land on your site? Let's say, for example, they say, we probably about half of the people there. They just say, I have no idea. Whatever they say here, it's creating a conversation around how many people leave and don't come back. If they said, probably half, I'd say, would it surprise you to know that the average is, 9 out of 10 people would not come back. About 98% of people sometimes leave and don't come back. And in that conversation, if they say, I have no idea, you can still go to that stat, and it just is going to basically pave the way for some things that we present down the road. Okay, so we talked a little about the low fruit explanation when we talk about how to explain retargeting to your clients or prospects. With this, we're going to use that same language of the low fruit explanation, and we're going to put some sales language on the back of it. So I usually don't have my slides this busy and this packed with information, but since we've already gone through this, I'm going to really quickly go through the low fruit talk points, and then we're going to jump into some more sales talk points for the foot in the door. So here we go. I'm just going to jump into it. Typically, we look in the world of business in 2 columns: people who do business with us and those who don't, right? But there's a large underserviced audience that often gets overlooked, and that's people who know you but don't do business with you yet. And we're trying to get those people that have already come and looked at us and know us to do business with us, right? So some of the statistics are, 98% of people who visit your site won't take you up on your requested action, whatever that might be. And it's also said that the average consumer needs to see an offer anywhere between 4 and 8 times before making a buying decision. So the question then becomes, what if we could implement a program that gets your message in front of the prospect after they leave your site? They already know you, they've already visited, but then it follows them around. It gives them several opportunities to consider your offer. All right, so we've set the table there, right? And then we jump into, this is basically the foot in the door language that we use. The best part of this strategy, called retargeting, typically converts new buyers at a lower cost of acquisition than most of the other paid traffic strategies like Google AdWords and some other stuff. This is typically because the buyer had intent, it showed up to your site, but life got in the way, whatever it might be. They were at work, the kids walked in the room, the cat jumped on the computer, whatever it might have been, right? And so imagine if we could recapture, ideally, 30, 25%, but if we could even just capture 20% of those lost opportunities each month, how that would affect the annual bottom line and numbers for your business. It would be profound. It would be a big jump in your bottom line numbers. Now, since this is a new opportunity, we've created this low-cost initial retargeting package that allows you to see how we work alongside our clients, and it's also very budget-friendly, and it's a very, very budget-friendly way to begin working with us. And so a typical client engagement, just so you know, is in the range of usually $1,000 to $2,000 per month, but for only $397 per month, or whatever you guys choose to charge for the foot in the door, for only $397 a month, we can get you started in our basic retargeting program. And we often talk about the 5 T's of paid traffic, which we might have discussed with you before, but those again are targeting, traffic, testing, tracking, and tuning. And the way that this program works with targeting, we are setting up the retargeting systems in Facebook and in cross-program retargeting called Perfect Audience. We also, with the traffic, we direct it to a landing page that we've created for you that has very specific use. For testing, we test different images and copy. We'll play those against each other to see which one performs better. And then when tracking, we track those clicks on those split test ads that we're working, and we see what's working, what's not working, we pair off the ones that aren't working, and we'll put in another one to see if we can beat the control. And then tuning, we report to you monthly, and we continue to optimize based on recommendations how to get better results from these pay-per-click retargeting ads that we're doing. So you can see for a basic program, you're getting a lot of value. And so at this point, you kind of would jump into the specifics of the program. What we like to do here is we have the actual agreement, ready to go, or if we're doing this online across the interwebs, we have the ability to send them the agreement. But we want to say, now at this point, this is very specifically what you get. Do you have any questions? And so that's basically how we set up the foot in the door program. So we're going to talk a bit more about different sales strategies in other videos, but I hope this one helped give you a framework for selling to net new prospects. And I challenge all of you to take some of this stuff we talked about today, get out there, start prospecting, get this language in front of people, sell some foot in the door programs. I promise you that people will buy, and they will lead to great opportunities down the road as well. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Hey everybody, it's Josh Lannon again, and we are talking about selling some retargeting today. Specifically, this one's about how to sell to current clients, and so it's going to be very similar to the one that we talked about selling to prospects. This one's going to have a little bit of a different twist on it, and we're going to have a couple additional strategies for selling to current clients. And before we jump into this, we also, just to clarify, these are people we've already done business with or are doing business with now. And a lot of times these conversations come up if the client has some questions about what's possible or what else is how else you can help them, or if it's you're looking at some of their numbers during a reporting session or something like that. And that's when these upsell opportunities come into play, okay? So you guys have seen the low fruit talking points before, so we're just going to go through them really quickly, and then we're going to jump into some of the current client sales strategies. So I'm going to go through this really quick. Typically, we look at the world in two columns: people who do business with us and those who don't, right? There's also, though, a very large underserviced audience that often gets overlooked, and those are the people that don't do business with you yet, but they know about you, right? So these are the people who have come to our website, have read some of our content, but they haven't taken the action. And so it's said that 98% of people actually come to the site and don't take you up on your requested action, and that most consumers have to see an offer anywhere from 4 to 8 times before making a buying decision. So what if we could implement some type of program that gets our message in front of the prospect after they already know about us and have left our site, but also gives them several opportunities to come back and consider your offer? The best part about this strategy is it typically converts new buyers at a lower cost of acquisition than other paid traffic sources. This is typically because the buyer had the intent, right? They wanted to, or were interested in whatever you had to offer, but life got in the way. They were at work, the kids came home, the cat jumped on the computer, whatever it might have been. And so imagine if we could recapture just a small chunk of that lost opportunity, even if it's just 20% each month. That would have a huge effect on your bottom line numbers, right? All right, so here's where we go into some of the more specific stuff. Now, what I want to talk to you about is we currently have been offering this retargeting package that places ads not only on Facebook initially, but also all over the internet for your prospects and clients to see. It's truly one of the most effective ways to use your advertising dollars that we've found again and again. And based on the traffic that we know comes to your site, I would recommend ... right? And so a lot of times in this case, I'm like, I would recommend doing a Facebook plus retargeting bundle, and this is why. And then I go into, what their traffic looks like, what their current situation is, how Facebook could help build up the audience, and retargeting will help sell the product. We talk about this a little bit more in the pricing section, so keep your eye out for that. And then this is presenting the upsell, right? So this is a little bit different. This is how, you go through kind of your initial, reporting or wherever you're at, and then you start with this. I was looking at the traffic numbers and I see that several people are signing up for the free report or insert whatever offer here, but we're not getting much conversion beyond that. They're signing up for the report, but then that's all they're doing. Based on the results that I've been having with some of our other clients, I'm really thinking that we should consider a Facebook and web retargeting campaign to help move people up the sales funnel. When people land on the page after the free report, we can make sure that they are on a retargeting list that shows them an ad for the low-cost initial offer next. So we can even exclude the people who have actually bought from seeing our ads, which makes the entire campaign much, much more efficient. All right, so hopefully this makes sense to you guys. What we're talking about here is, the reason that this language works is what this is our experience with our other clients. I'm really thinking we should consider this to move people up the sales funnel. And then we're explaining what they land on the page of the free report. Afterwards, they get put on a list that shows them the next tripwire offer, right? If you guys are familiar with that in funnel and kind of the funnel nomenclature. And so we can even exclude people who have bought the tripwire so that they don't see that tripwire offer again, right? So that's where it gets even cooler. We can show people who got the freebie, the tripwire offer, as we follow them around the internet, but we can also exclude those people who did actually buy the tripwire offer, and so that we're not wasting clicks and traffic and money and ads and all that stuff on them. So I think this is really powerful. A lot of times at this point, if I'm actually sitting down with a client, I'll actually draw a little, I'll do the old napkin trick, right? I'll actually draw, here are the people that see the free report. Here's where they go. We follow them around with ads. And then they see the tripwire offer again and again. If they buy, great, they get excluded from that list. And it really makes sense to the client. A lot of times clients love to see these types of strategies. It gets them excited. And you want to, cultivate that excitement, right? So this is the third one we want to talk about. This one's called the retargeting Facebook ads cross-sell. This is how this one works, okay? Hey, we are looking at your retargeting report and the numbers look really good. Oh, let me take a quick step back from this. Sorry. This is assuming that they already are doing retargeting or they're already doing Facebook ads. What we're trying to do here is, take the retargeting and add some Facebook ads, or if they're already doing Facebook ads, take the Facebook ads and add some retargeting. So I hope that makes sense. This is assuming that they're already doing some retargeting. We're looking at your retargeting report and the numbers look really, really good. But one issue that we came across is that we keep hitting our head on the ceiling of the audience, meaning that the numbers look good until we've reached all the people in the retargeting audience a few times, and then we've kind of exhausted the audience. So we need a bigger audience. Make sense? So the most effective way to grow the audience we found is to use well-targeted Facebook ads that leads to engaging content that really get people to come to the site. In this way, we are like stocking the pond, to use a fishing term that is used when they add quality fish to the lake to make the fish more enjoyable for tourists to go fishing, right? What we're trying to do is we're trying to add more people into our retargeting list. And so we get very targeted users to the site, which is a great thing. And ideally, they get exposure to the brand and offer. We kind of educate them on who we are and what makes us great and what the brand and offer are. But then we convert them using the retargeting ads, because we're already showing these great numbers on retargeting, huge click-throughs, nice conversions. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so it makes sense to you guys, right? That the most effective way to grow somebody's retargeting audience, again, I'm talking to you, not to the client anymore. The most effective way to grow somebody's retargeting audience is to get some really quick Facebook ads over there. So I hope this makes sense to you guys. This actual strategy has probably worked more than anything else for us. The other way would be if they're having Facebook ads, they're doing really well with the Facebook ads, and we say, hey, why don't we get retargeting added to this, and we can get more people to see the Facebook offers more often. We can, again, kind of educate or get them exposed to our brand in those initial Facebook ads, and then sell them on the retargeting offer. They've already seen you, they already know you, they're going to like you. Final thoughts before we close out this video. Insert the 5T framework wherever it makes sense in these strategies. I was considering putting it in the video, and then I thought, you know what, it just kind of plugs in where it makes sense, and I didn't want to sully or muddy the waters. And so just when it makes sense, say, going back to the 5 T's and then drop in how this program inserts into the 5 T's. Ideally, that just gives you more credibility, right? And goes back to the framework mentality. Remember the annual value of a new customer and insert that in the language. So you could say, yeah, we're going to, I think this will get us, several new customers each month based on adding, Facebook ads, or based on adding retargeting, or whatever the actual program that you're trying to add is. But be like, those extra few people will represent an additional, $4,000 this year. So that makes a lot of sense if we can do that consistently every month. And then show the client how these new strategies will best help them achieve their business or personal goals. Again, these are your current clients. You know a lot more about these guys than you do about the prospects. So if you know that they're trying to take more summer vacations with their family, or if you know that they're really trying to open up a new practice, or whatever it might be, right? Show how these strategies are going to help them reach those goals, get them excited about it, close these deals. Again, at the end of this one, I challenge you guys to go out there, talk to your clients, upsell them into some type of retargeting program. Ideally, this will be one of the easier sales that you ever do, and it will definitely get you better numbers and better relationships with your clients. So thanks so much. See you guys in the next video. Hey everyone, it's Josh Lannon here, and welcome again to Local Remarketing Blueprint. We're talking about pricing today. So the title of today's module is Price to Win, and this is one of the more fun videos because everybody asks us about pricing, and so we're going to actually go into some specific pricing. Keep in mind though that in this pricing overview, it's not it's not written in stone. I hope that you guys sell your stuff for more than what we're talking about here, but everybody asks us kind of where the pricing can lie, and so we decided to go ahead and show you guys what we're doing. And again, like I said, hopefully you guys can go out there and do a lot better than us. So this is just a quick overview. So we have our initial offering, foot in the door. It's just retargeting only. It's $297 to $497, foot in the door, just to get new clients working with you on retargeting. And then Facebook Ads Management plus retargeting is a bundle of the two. And oftentimes we do a little bit of a discount there. We'll go into that. $597 to $797 per month. And then Facebook conversion plus retargeting, a little bit more advanced strategy. We're actually working on conversions, and we have retargeting on the back end of that. That's $1,000 to $2,000. And then finally, our full Facebook pay-per-click offering with funnel optimization. It's when we get really, really deep into someone's funnel. We create different aspects of the funnel. We test them. It's a pretty in-depth consulting type of gig, and $2,000 is actually cheap. You should really be charging, $3,000 plus probably in this arena. But we're playing around with it at $1,997 to see how that price point works out. And then also consider including and splitting out ad spends. Something that we've tested and played around with a little bit. The only one of these that ad spend is included is the first one, the foot in the door strategy, to keep that one as simple and with as few moving parts as possible for people who are just getting started with us. So foot in the door, let's talk about that. It's $297 to $497 per month. It should be considered a short-term loss leader at the $297 price point, but really at any price point, it should be considered just kind of a getting started with us, and then ideally you'll move it forward to a higher level upsell at some point soon. So there is a $250 setup fee that's added to month one. So if we're talking about, let's just say the $297 price point for the monthly payment, if we added the $250 on top of that, it would be the $547. There's my math. $547 first month fee, and then it would be drop down to $297 per month for the monthly. So that's the way we do it. Easier math would just be like, hey, it's $550 and then drops down to $300, if that's better for you guys to understand. And the ad spend is included here, $50 to begin. And so we just build that into the program. Typically $50 is going to be plenty, especially for the first or second months of a local retargeting ad spend. Ideally, we're going to reach that perfect audience, $120. We give you guys a $120 ad spend, perfect audience ad spend voucher. And so hopefully we're always striving to use that in month 2. Sometimes we're able to get to it in month 1, and sometimes we have to use some additional strategies to get us to that 1,000 cookied users to be able to use that $120. You have a 2-week kind of window that you can use that is once you hit those 1,000 cookied users. So make sure that you stay on top of that. And this should be considered a 30 to 60 day program. You know, first month you show some good results. Second month you're able to use that perfect audience money ideally. And then by the end of the second month, you're having a discussion about upselling into a Facebook program where you can get more traffic and build your audience better. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. The foot in the door includes Facebook account setup and perfect audience account setup, meaning we set up the accounts, we set up users, and we also set up your retargeting pixels and make sure that those are working properly on the websites. And then ad spend, it does include that ad spend. We call it $50, but sometimes we do a little bit more if we need a little bit more of a bump. And you get 2 ad creatives, and you also get 2 pieces of ad copy. So really there's 4 different variables of different types of ads running at any given time that we're trying to see which ones are the winners, which ones are the losers. We also create a landing page. It's a very templated lead page, landing page, but it just gets the job done. It's very simple and basic. It looks great though, and it gets the job done, does well in converting. We also include the tracking number, as much for the client's benefit as for ours. We really want to know what's going on with the tracking number. Sometimes we'll just throw the tracking number in, but we really want it for our own internal tracking. So, and then last, the monthly video reporting. We want to make sure that we're doing monthly reporting. Oftentimes for these lower priced offerings, we're doing video reporting so that we can be mindful of our time. But with this one, we're really trying to upsell them early and often. And so I will sometimes use my time to do specific reporting with them in person or over the phone or over Skype or whatever. And that gives me an opportunity to discuss what's going on with the program and to tell them why it'd be important to upgrade into one of our other programs. So the second one is Facebook Ads Plus retargeting. This one is $597 to $797. It's our initial upsell. So first upsell, we call it the stock the pond. You guys probably saw that in one of our previous videos. But the idea is we're trying to get more people to the site so we can get more people cookied, so we can get more people in the retargeting audience, which again converts much better than any other of the PPC audiences that we use. We often will give a bundle discount. So rather than all this 97 mumbo jumbo, let's just say that the retargeting is $400 and our Facebook ads package is $500. So typically it'd be a $900 package. Then we will do a, as a bundle, we'll do it for $697 or $700 or whatever you want to call it. So you can see you save $100 to $200 sometimes if we bundle these together. It makes people feel good about it. It makes it seem like they're getting a deal, which they are. And it also, since we're kind of retargeting Facebook ads, kind of share some of the same setup and all that stuff, it's really no skin off our knees, right? So the other thing here is we do have a $250 to $500 setup fee. I always call it $500, but I typically discount it if they do a longer term agreement with us. Again, if we extend their agreement out, we can either discount it or wipe it out altogether. Again, that's on top of the first payment. So, and then ad spend is not included. It's we recommend a $300 a month minimum, which is about $10 per day. And that's something that should be pretty easy at this price point for people to do. The Facebook ads that we create for this one are meant for initial traffic, which means we're getting that know, like, and trust. They know about us, they're aware, they're educated. And then the second one is the retargeting ads are meant for the offer, for the sell. So we're educating with the Facebook ads, we're selling with the retargeting ads. I hope that makes sense. All right, so what's included in the Facebook ads plus retargeting? They get Facebook targeted research. We go a lot deeper into the psychographics, demographics, geographies, other types of partner demographics that they carry. We really go deeper into that and put together a really nice package showing where we're going to target, what our avatars are, things like that. And then we also we're going to be doing 2 Facebook ads plus 2 retargeting ad creatives, and we'll do 2 different options for copy for each of those. So there'll be 4 variable ads for Facebook and 4 for retargeting. And then we will, of course, split test separately the Facebook and the retargeting ads and see which ones win and which ones don't. And then we'll put the money behind the ones that are doing better. We have 2 landing pages, one for Facebook, one for retargeting. We have multiple tracking numbers, of course. And again, we go to the monthly video reporting unless we're trying to do some white glove type of reporting, or if we're trying to do some discussions around cross-selling, upselling, stuff like that. So the third program is called Facebook Conversion and Retargeting, and this one's about $1,000 to $2,000 per month. This is where you really eventually want to be. This is where we're going. We're doing a lot more of these types of deals, and it's a nice kind of central core offer place to be in. There typically is a $1,000 setup fee added to month one. Just as we said before, oftentimes it's discounted for longer term contracts, or just to let them say, hey, typically it's $1,000, but we want to give you a deal. You've been working with us for the last 6 months with Facebook ads and retargeting, so we're going to bring that down to $500, let's say. Ad spend is not included, and at this level, you definitely want to be spending a significant amount, at least $50 minimum per day. That should go up as you get better results. And return on investment opportunity must be very clear. What I mean by this is, at this point, they're spending, say $3,000 a month, possibly $5,000 a month, depending on ad spend and what you're charging. You really want to be able to have a conversation with them that shows how the ROI opportunity is evident, be it, we're going to bring in ideally this many new clients, and those clients' lifetime value are worth this much money. And based on what we've seen before with your ads, this is what we can kind of make a hypothesis on the successfulness of the conversion ads. And then also, it might be actually selling a transaction. So it might be we're selling this many of your widgets, and we know that that's going to be worth double what you're spending with us to do these types of things. Now, you don't want to overpromise, so be very careful of that, but you just want to be able to have that discussion around the opportunity without making any strict promises, because you don't want to step any landmines there. But again, keep that in mind. That's why we're always keeping an eye on how much value is in the things that we're selling. And then typically we're bidding per action here, or per acquisition, or some people call it bidding per conversion. But this is different. We're not bidding by website clicks here, or any type of clicks. We're bidding per every time someone buys something or does a required action that represents some revenue being generated, right? So this is where it gets really interesting, because we can, in our reporting, we can show how much people are paying per click, but we can also show how much people are making per click. And those numbers ideally should be very different from each other, and they should be making a lot more money than they're paying, right? And so that's where it gets really exciting, and clients really love to see that type of reporting. And let's talk a little about what's included in the Conversion Plus retargeting. We do very advanced Facebook targeting research, much more so than the previous program. We get really, really granular with what type of targeting and what type of demographics we're working. And we're testing several different interests at any given time, and then doing reporting based on that. We also create, and sometimes we do this in the other programs, but we make sure we're creating a significant buyer lookalike audience here to test from. Typically at this level, they have a lot of buyer information, so we're able to create a really nice lookalike audience of 2 million people plus that look like the people that have bought from them in the past, and that gives us a big bump in conversions. Highly recommend doing that anytime you can. And then also multiple ads variants and testing. We're doing a bunch of different ads, going very deep with the different ways that we slice apart the different age groups and the different demographics. And all those ads are running independently of each other. In doing so, we can get some really, really good data. And then once we figure out which ones are winning, we pair off all the other ones, put all of our energy behind the ones that are working, and we move forward from there. Revenue tracking is on conversions. So we actually plug in the value of a conversion into the tracking pixel. And in doing that, again, we can see how much we're spending per click in conversion, and that's really powerful. And then multiple product services have specific retargeting ads. So basically there's a specific pixel and specific retargeting ad for each product or for each service. And they might have 10, 20 products or services that we're doing very, very separate campaigns for each one. So it can get really kind of complex there, but you can really get specific. It's kind of like Amazon, where you go and you look at the one movie or book or whatever it might be on Amazon, and all of a sudden that thing follows you around, that actual product you looked at. That's what we're talking about here. And then monthly reporting. We do a little bit more in-depth monthly reporting with conversion plus retargeting. Again, this is where you really want to be. So I really like creating videos, but also having some in-person reporting with them as well. And then finally the last one, last but not least, right, is Facebook pay-per-click plus funnel optimization. This one's $2,000 plus, and $2,000 is probably too cheap. A lot of guys that I know are doing $5,000 plus ad spend here all day. And but you really have to know your stuff and have a really great reputation to do that. But this is where you roll up your sleeves and you're really getting in there and helping them build their funnel. You're helping them work out what's working for lead magnets and tripwires and core offers and upsells and all those things. You're also often doing launch strategies in this program. So you might be doing regular evergreen ads 1 month, and then the next month you're doing a launch with ads and retargeting. And then the next month you're doing more evergreen stuff. And then there's another, mini launch or something. And so you really have to have kind of a built out audience and then really put a lot of energy and effort behind a launch strategy while you're still keeping things running evergreen. It's a very, it's very fun, but it's also, more complicated than your average Facebook pay-per-click management. Ad spends, of course, not included here again, and it's $100 a day minimum. People are spending more than that, clearly, but $3,000 a month is not a big deal for people at this level. Sometimes you find yourself getting offered equity or back-end profits, and we've done this in the past. We did a DVD for a filmmaker, and we did, I think it was a couple grand up front, and then we got a percentage on every one thing that was sold on the back end, and we did really well. I think we made more on the back end than we did on the front, so it was a good deal all around for everyone. Something to consider, we've been offered equity, but we haven't taken it just because it wasn't quite right for us. But it becomes very interesting when people are offering you part of their business for you helping them build their funnel. And everybody kind of has a horse in the race at that point. We do weekly rep check-ins and reporting. So oftentimes at this level, there'll be like a junior rep or a sales rep that does weekly reporting, and then the owner or a senior sales rep will check in with them from time to time, maybe every couple months, just depending on the level of which you want to have that type of responsibility to the reporting. But in this case, typically there are sales reps or accounting reps that are checking with them every week. All right, so that's it, guys. Thanks so much, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Hope the pricing structure really helped you guys give some ideas, and feel free to reach out and contact us if you have any questions about this. We'll see you in the next video. Hey everyone, it's Josh Lannon again, and today we're going to be doing a kind of once-over on reporting for your clients. And so I'm going to do my best I can to give you a short overview of reporting, but give you enough information that you're able to take it and use it. Reporting could be a whole training in and of itself again, as many things within Facebook are. But I really want you guys to get a feel for this and be comfortable with at least the Facebook side of reporting. And so jumping in here, we're going to go into our ads manager on the left-hand side here. Click on that. And then we're going to go over here and we're going to click on reports. Click on that. And then here you can see we have a couple of live, this is kind of my junk folder here. So we have a couple of our little e-commerce retargeting ads and stuff going on here. They're just kind of evergreen. They're kind of always running. And so, but we can take a look at some old reports as well. So I'm going to break it down. Let's just say, for example, we wanted to see everything that was possible. So we're gonna actually remove and add some filters here really quick. All right, so I extended the time frame up to 90 days, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some filters, because let's say we just want one client's information, of course, and we have a couple different ads usually going at any given time testing for our clients. So we're going to click on add filters here, and I'm going to add the word cool. So you can do campaign name or ad set name or ad name, contains, does not contain, is or is not. I'm going to go with contains. That's typically what I do. I know I named a bunch of my stuff for one of my e-commerce stores, Cool, and so I'm going to just go ahead and click on that and add filter. I'm going to pull it up. So here's some stuff I had going on with Cool, and then you can see here if I kind of scroll all the way to the right, there's a bunch of different information that comes across, and so I'm gonna filter out some of the columns. So if you go up here and click on customize columns, you can click on that, and then boom, this comes up. This is looks really busy, but it's actually not that difficult to get through. You can just, I like to just kind of go through the all section and just scroll through everything. That might not be very efficient for you guys. So they've broken them down by performance, engagement, videos, website conversions, apps, events, and so on. I usually definitely hit on performance, engagement, clicks, and website conversions. Those are kind of the four that I really hit on. And it shows 15 have already been kind of pre-selected here. So the first thing I do is I start to click away the stuff that I don't want. So I don't really need frequency for my stuff. I want to show reach. I want to show clicks, unique clicks, and all these unique settings is not that important for a succinct, report to a client. Click-through rate, absolutely. Amount spent, absolutely. Cost per 1,000 impressions and all that stuff I don't need. Cost per click, absolutely. Actions, you can leave it in or you can't. Actions is kind of like a bucket of all the actions people could be taking. People taking actions. Page likes, you can leave that in. I usually take it out. I want to keep it pretty tight. So again, you can kind of scroll down here, and I don't want to waste a bunch of time doing this. You can see all of the things that are important, and they have them broken down by engagement and all that other stuff that's on the left-hand side. So you can do, sometimes like sharing is very important. So like liking and sharing and commenting, you might want to add that in. But I definitely always add website clicks, which is in the engagement section. Offer claims, check-ins, just depending on what you're doing. Cost per page like, some of these different costs. I like to have cost per website click just for my own knowledge. Sometimes I'll include that in the report and other times I won't. And then if you really get into the conversions, I recommend for at least your own reporting, do website conversion and cost per website conversion. These are ones that you might add again for your own reporting, but you have to be careful. You're not setting expectations or setting kind of landmines for yourself when you actually do the reporting for the client. So you want to be careful. You don't want to hide anything from the client, of course, but you just want to be careful of what type of information is important on the report and which information is more important for your own internal numbers, to understand where it's going. And it's all based on the expectations you set for success on the actual campaign itself to the client. So hope that wasn't confusing, but I like to add all these at first and then take a look at the numbers and see what they look like. Again, there's a lot of different ways you can break this down. These are the ones I like, so I just hit apply. It shows me where everything is. It's very easy for me to take a peek at, and then I will sometimes then go up here to where it says current reports, and they give you some kind of preset reports here, but I like to save my report, and I'll just call this my ecom reports. We'll just do that for now and save it. So now if I ever want to go back to this, I don't have to go through all that monkeying around with that drop down and all those click boxes, but I can just go up here, click on ecom reports, and it sets it up like this. And then you can break it down by all the different metrics that are important to you. You can also clear out your filters here. You can set it by campaign level or ad set level and all that stuff. Some of the important things that I like to do is schedule out my reporting. So if I want to do a reporting at the end of the month, I'll go to monthly here. Again, I clicked on schedule up above, monthly here, start date, we'll just say March 1st, and the email I want it to go to, and schedule. And then it says it's been successfully scheduled. I'll get an email at the end of the month or beginning of the month telling me that my report is ready to go, and then I'll be able to drop that into my reporting template that I've created that I'll show you guys here in just a moment. So now that I have the schedule all set, when the schedule comes out, I see something like this. You can share it with somebody so that it gets sent via a Facebook message. So you can click share and give them a link. There's a link shortener. You can send this to somebody that has access to the account. But what I like to do is actually drop into a template that we have. And so this is my reporting information. What I would then do is click export as an XLS or a CSV, include summary row, and export. It then downloads. And then I'll take that out of the Excel file and I'll show you our template that we use. Just a minute. Okay, so this is an actual client report that is a Facebook ads management one that we ended up upselling into retargeting. And so I'm blurring out just to protect the name of the customer, but we can use some of their numbers and take a look at it. This was a very local home services type of customer. And so basically you have the name of the customer up top and then the report call out for which month it is. And then this first section here, I paste in a copy of the two. Typically, if it's our basic package, we have two different ads that are testing at any given time. And so that's our split test. And sometimes we'll have four because we'll have two different images and two different ad copies. So it just depends how you set that up. But I have the ads and creatives there just so they can kind of see it and refer back to them. And again, this is in a Google Doc, so it's easily shared, easily downloaded, kind of universal to everyone. So we do this as a Google document. And then here's kind of our testing and performance numbers. So the actual numbers I used here, because it was relevant to the reporting, was reach, clicks, click-through rate, amount spent, cost per click, and cost per website click. So this was just one we just did like a $50 test on this one. Typically, people are spending around $200 to $300 a month on this, but we were just doing a really quick test to test the two creatives. And so we found clearly one outperformed the other. And so the way I would go over this is, here are creatives. Here are here's the testing and performance that we had. Set one clearly didn't do as well as set two. We were able to reach almost 5,000 people in this local geography. We got 85 clicks. The click-through rate was on the winning ad was 1.4% for within local for this type of service. This is a good click-through percentage. And then we ended up putting most of our effort behind that at $48. And we ended up getting a cost per click at 60 cents, which was much lower than the 75 cents we were getting on the other one. And a cost per website click was down under $1.50. So this is a $300 to $400 service that we're selling. And so, that type of exposure for that amount of money is a good win for the company. And then we have the overview here. So the orange got mold ad won in the split test. Almost 5,000 homeowners saw your ad. 85 clicked on the ad. 33 clicked through the website, and the cost per click was $1.48. So that's just kind of the overview. That was, kind of the reach that we got and how the success that we had, how many people actually were exposed to the offer. And then recommendations, increase the ad spend to $10 per day, like we talked about. Range of clicks will be 400 to 500 per month. Range of website clicks will be in the 170 to 200 per month range, which is really good for this client. And so that kind of sets the expectations based on that additional ad spend. And then consider adding a retargeting campaign. We get increased conversions, we get lower cost per click, and the display ad options for views outside of Facebook would be a huge benefit in this market. So it gives you an idea of exactly how we report, how we give overviews, and then how we make recommendations, quote, quote, right, that are actually upsell opportunities for us. And so this is a very simple one that we're able to show you here. You can take yours and create one that's much more in-depth, or one that is a little bit more branded, of course, to your business. But we do have a kind of brand agnostic one that we offer in our resources. So feel free to jump on board and take that along with all the other resources in there. It's a good deal. Hope this helps. Again, get out there, sell the stuff so that you can be doing more of these reports and be making more money for your business. Thanks so much, guys. See you in the next video.